Today, as you see, we are here to talk to you about the future of wealth management, and I want to take a few seconds also to introduce who I have with me today. So, I have Pooja Mantri. She's a senior analyst at Everest Group and closely tracking and leading a lot of our research on the wealth management space, more specifically around the wealth management products and the digital experience products in this space past 24 months. And my name is Kriti Gupta, and I'm a practice director at Everest Group. I lead and track a lot of our research on the BFS space with a focus on wealth management. So, today, what we want to share with all of you is our perspectives on how we see that evolution in the entire wealth management space. The business model is a shift, be it because of the economic factors, the uncertainty in the supply chains, what is happening from an perspective, and also what are the drivers. So, Pooja, do you want to share your perspectives? How do you see this evolution happening, and what is driving this change in the wealth management space?
Sure, Kriti. So, firstly, I would like to talk about the different S-curve shifts that have happened in the past and how the wealth management model has evolved from being a reputation-driven business model to a more technology-led advisory model. So now we've seen the shift in the past, and now we are experiencing the next inflection point in which it is moving from a persona-based to a more person-based personalization through this hybrid trust model. So, if I talk about the first stage, back in the days, it was mostly through family based offices, which focused a lot on client intimacy, in person advisory, and exclusivity. So, after that, we saw the emergence of mass affluent segment wherein they started demanding access to similar asset classes and wealth management strategies as the institutional investors or the high net worth individual clients, which essentially led to the rise of robo advisory models, which democratized access to these services. So enterprises started focusing on expanding their digital channels to, efficiently capture these emerging investor class and leveraging these technologies to drive process improvements. Now we see that it has evolved from that to a more hybrid trust model wherein they are utilizing technologies such as AI to transform the end-to-end customer journeys. They want to give their clients access to new products such as digital assets, ESG linked investments, and overall financial wellness services. Hyper personalization is the key focus area for enterprises as they are trying to create competitive differentiation and they're trying to gain trust of their clients in the digital world. But we see that the approach to hyper personalization is also seeing a shift. What is your perspective on this, Kriti?
So, I think as you rightly touched upon, this entire S curve shifts the industry has been going through. And today, where we stand, it is all about how do you bring that touch of personalization, but that hyper personalization itself is seeing a shift. And like you rightly said, so at Everest Group, what we are closely seeing and tracking is the shift has moved towards being more of a psychographic approach instead of being a demographic approach. So earlier, what used to happen, you used to segment your customer base by demographic and statistical data around age, gender, location they are in, occupation they are involved in day-to-day pieces versus psychographic segmentation becomes more about who you are as an individual. So what is your personality trait, what are your attitudes, what are your beliefs, what are your lifestyle habits, and so on. And this, in a way, this psychographic data, this entire approach, it becomes very much more individualistic. You focus on how that entire lifestyle is orchestrated for your end customer versus targeting a macro group of customers together. Let's say, okay, hey, this is a segment that works in so and so occupation, lives in so and so cities. So hence, these might be the relevant products for them. These might be the relevant investing choices for them. Versus, you look at every individual has different aspirations in their life. So you make your tracking more real time versus making it a point in time activity. So I think this entire individualistic targeting and how do you enable this client preferences, it is what is going to be a game changer in the industry. And a lot of it then boils down to the piece around data. I think it's always about data. So how do you actually enable this for your segment? So what we see here is there are at least three zones of how you interact with your end customers as a wealth manager, and even as part of the entire wealth technology platform, how do you design those experiences? So the degree of personalization that you can bring in for your customer is directly correlated to the trust and the comfort your end customer will have on sharing that private data with you, right? So you are in the zone one, I would say somewhere today, if you look at the industry, we are somewhere between crossing the zone one and entering the zone two. So you have established the trust with your customers. You are now trying to expand that trust. But I think the sweet spot is how do you monetize that trust? So you can start monetizing the trust once you have this finer granules of data that help you enter into that entire next level of personalization for your customer. So that is where I think the industry we believe will move to as the S curve shifts happen, and this data sharing, the customer's trust that needs to be won over is what will drive a lot of the change in the coming few years. So I think this is the very first part of what we wanted to share with you, how we see the evolution of the wealth management industry happening, what are the drivers for it, and what is going to be some of the key success factors as we move to it. We will soon be back with a part two of our this edition, where we will be sharing further thoughts on how you can double click on enabling this for your end customers. Till then, thank you all for joining in and have a good rest of the day.
Thank you.